Hello, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another Self-Love Sunday. I'm very excited to be here doing this. And today I was singing a song that I would like to just put it right now while some people get online. It's just a beautiful medicine song. It goes like this. I'm just gonna put it on. It's called Hurawaka. Hemaya. Hey Yamaho. Hey Yamayo. And with this music, I would love for us to take a couple of deep breaths. So those of you that are online, please close your eyes. Amiga! Hello, happy Sunday. So let's close our eyes. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths. Exhale. 2 more. Let go. And 1 more. And let go. Beautiful. Keep breathing in and out as we welcome this beautiful call, this beautiful Facebook Live. Breathe in and out. Remember that your breath controls your mind. So if your mind has been a little bit busy this Sunday morning, just breathe in and out, telling your body it is safe to breathe. It is safe to be right here, right now. So we take some moments together, breathing in and out. And we bless this beautiful conversation that we're about to have. We bless this Sunday. We bless our lives. We know this is a beautiful gift to be alive. It's a beautiful gift to be able to access the internet, to have technology that is allowing us to get closer if we use it in the right way. So we're going to take the last deep breath in and let go. Beautiful. Very slowly and gently we come back. I see some people online. Thank you for being here. I'm so honored. Okay, so if you are online, please say hi. I see Avati, amiguita, hola. Alexandra Ortiz, hola. Justin, I see you join. Yay, so good to have you here. Bohan. Tammy, hi Tammy, good morning. Alexandra, hello. Kelty, hello everyone. And it's again an honor to be here with you guys. Let's see what today's call brings. Let's be open to everything. So if you have a question throughout the call, please type it in the comments, because your questions are everyone's questions. It's so interesting when we walk this path of development, personal and spiritual development, we become aware of how similar we all are. Yes, we may have different experiences, but the feeling tone behind the experiences are the same. This human experience is pretty much the same for everyone. Sometimes it's beautiful, sometimes it gets a little bit messy. The questions are the same, the fears are the same. So please, if you have a question, if you have a comment, put it in the comments and we can all develop from that. We can develop from that, a question from that comment. But I want to share with you that this week I had a beautiful experience. I had 2 beautiful experiences. First one is that my teacher, Michael Beckwith, was visiting, and it's always so beautiful to listen to him. So much love, so much power coming through his beautiful awakened soul. And then I participated in a ceremony this week, in an ayahuasca ceremony, and it was beautiful remembering. And so it's been a beautiful week for me, amazing, so much expansion. And so three things happen, a lot of things happen, infinite things happened this week that were amazing, but someone that we shared the ceremony together gave me this book. It's by Ram Dass, and I don't know, I guess the name is Be Here Now. Remember? Be Here Now. And yesterday I was reading it, and one of the things that caught my attention, because it's one of my lessons this week, it goes, I'm going to read it to you, and then I'm going to tell you what resonated with me, and I'm pretty sure it will resonate with you too. And he talks about the heart cave. Let me show it to you. The heart, see, wait, this way. The heart cave. And he goes, accept, yet be converted, and become as little children. I don't know how you say this, but it's Y-E, ye shall not enter the kingdom of heaven unless you start again, become that trusting, open, surrender being. The energy cannot come in. That is the kingdom of heaven, the energy. It is the same thing, cosmic consciousness. So I know if we read it, it's like, what? What are you talking about? But the part that I love is become as little children, so that you can enter the kingdom of heaven. And we know that this also is in the Bible, but without going into religiosity or dogma, I just think it's so beautiful to remember to be as little children. That curiosity, that awe that that children are, that joy, that that openness, trust, surrender, all of that little children intrinsically have, because they haven't forgotten. Was one of my messages. I'm reading it here, and I wanted to share with you today. Last week, Brandon, I don't know if Brandon is connected today, but Brandon said, can you talk about the difference between doing and being, or what's the balance between being and doing? And I say, yes, I'll do it. I will talk about it. And I think it goes hand in hand. Everything in this universe is connected, as you know. But when we are in that space of curiosity, of openness, of surrender, of trust, it says you enter the kingdom of heaven. And as I've spoken before, we don't have to die to go to heaven. We can bring it here. And heaven being beauty, excellence, magnificence, joy, all of those qualities that we want, that we long in our hearts and our souls. But for me, what I've seen is that when I'm in that space of openness, of full trust, like a child, creativity opens, and then a vision starts pulling me. So here's the thing, many times in my life, I've done things from a space of pushing myself. Many things. I have to do it. I should do it. And so I feel like I'm doing and I'm pushing so hard, and it's just very linear, very masculine, and it's beautiful. It gets me results. But sometimes it gets me exhausted too, and resentful with the goal, with the dream, or with everyone around me. Because I feel that something is pushing me, or I'm pushing myself, or I'm using my will, my free will. And the thing with free will is that free will is like a muscle that gets tired sometimes, and if I get triggered, then I just abandon my quest. But when we are in that space of bewilderment with awe, curiosity, and we are taking time to cultivate spirit, to go back to that innocence, what I've seen is that a vision starts pulling you. So here's the difference between being pushed and you pushing through things and you muscling through things, just feels so hard, and being pulled by a vision. It's almost like you're being lifted, like you're rising. And so what is the balance between doing and being? Reverend Michael says, let's not get into our doingness before we go into our beingness. So there's nothing wrong in doing. And well, there's no right or wrong in this universe. It's all beauty and perfection. But if we want to do what we want to do, let's make sure first we are in our beingness. So that instead of pushing, we're being pulled. I hope this is making sense. I hope this is resonating with you. If it's resonating with you, I would love to see a little heart on the comments, so that that we can all feed this energy of this Facebook Live. So what is the difference, what is the balance between doing and being? Well, the balance is your doingness being pushed. It's 11:11 right now here. If your doingness is being pushed by your ego, by your shoulds, but I have to do it, it just gets really tiring, and we don't want that. I mean, it feels like sometimes we have to, but we don't need to. And that is why it's so important to cultivate the practices of spirituality, or you don't even have to call it spirituality, the practice of cultivating our relationship to ourselves. And so in this book, when it says, become as little children to enter the kingdom of heaven, and it says, unless you start again. I love that. Unless you start again and become that open, surrender being, the energy will come in. Unless you do that, the energy won't come in. But when you do it, the energy come in, and then you start feeling that energy, that cosmic consciousness. I love the words start again. I love them. Because one of the things I've seen with us adults is that we are so good at judging ourselves, as saying, I wanted to do something, and then for whatever reason you get distracted, you quit, you couldn't meditate, you got triggered, you said that thing you knew it was better not to say it. And then we immerse ourselves in a goop of shame and guilt, and we swim there, and then we talk about it, and then other people talk about how they're doing the same, and then we are in that victim mentality, that victim consciousness. Life becomes very difficult, and we think that that's the story of our lives, that we just have to be there, that we have to swim there. But what if right there in those two words also there's a lot of beauty? Start again, begin again. The past is no longer here, and the future is unfolding in front of our eyes. What if we give ourselves permission to begin again? Again, going back to becoming like little children. A child, gets angry, cries, and begins again. A child is not, holding grudges. Or the funny analogy that I usually bring to classes, imagine if you're a kid when it was learning how to walk. Or imagine when you were learning how to walk, after the 100th time of falling because you're learning how to walk, you looked at your mom and your dad and you said, Mom, Dad, this walking thing is not my thing. I'm going to quit. A child doesn't do that. A child keeps trying, because it knows that it's an infinite being with infinite chances, possibility, infinite. And so we can begin again today. We can begin again, and it doesn't matter what happened this week. It doesn't matter what happened even this morning. You can begin again. You can begin again and welcome that trust. And you may say, well, Paola, it all sounds so good when you say it, but you don't understand what I just went through in the last 10 years or 5 years. And this last month, it's been hectic. It's been crazy in my life. You don't understand how my body is just like shutting down. You don't understand, how difficult it is to leave that relationship. It's so toxic. I just keep going back. You don't understand it. Well, yeah, I may not understand it because I'm not going through it. You are the one going through it. So this is not about bypassing. This is not about denying that it's occurring. But this is about remembering. And I love that this book has that in every corner. Remember, 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 remember. Remember that you can begin again, no matter what are the circumstances that you're living. You can remember again that that everything is happening for you and never against you. And again, sometimes as you're going through the situation, all of these words might sound a little bit like, oh, I don't know if I can believe that. But can you put them in the back of your mind? Can you put them in the back of your mind and be like a child, curious? Children have that thing, they're curious. They have so much curiosity. And they ask questions, and they look, and they observe. They're making new neurological connections. So what if you look at that situation in your life with curiosity? And you say, oh, interesting. It's hurting. Look at this pain in my heart. Interesting. And you become that observer with curiosity. And you ask that pain, you ask that discomfort, what are you here to teach me? Who are you? Where did I learn about you? Is this something that is mine, or is this something that belongs to my ancestors, my family, that I learned? Is this something that is mine or belongs to society? Because we are so prone and so tempted to be distracted with whatever is happening in the collective consciousness. Let's take a deep breath all together. Beautiful. So I'd love to see who. Okay, I see Maria Julia, amiguita, hola. Avati Hearts, Kelty Heart, Justin Heart, Marisol, amiga, hola. Alexandra Heart, beautiful. Diana, hola. Pablo, hola. Beautiful. So if there's any questions or any comments that are arising that you want to share, please put them right now so that I can read them out loud and we can develop the conversation from there. Another thing that happens, or I believe, this is my personal belief, take everything with a grain of salt and see if it resonates with you. But when I bring innocence in my life, when I bring a little bit of more trust and surrender, I begin to understand, or I remember again, that also I'm unconditionally loved by the universe. And I want to say the word unconditionally again. Unconditionally means no conditions. When you have the capacity to begin again, to start again, it's because you have remembered that you are so unconditionally loved that it doesn't matter what mistakes you've made. It doesn't matter what words you have said, what actions you've engaged in that you're not proud of. The universe is ready for you to begin again. That's why it's important to know about compassion, self-compassion, self-forgiveness, and forgiveness to others, and compassion towards others. And when we're having compassion is when we're understanding, like I've said it by now, I think 1,000 times, is when you understand that hurt people. But whenever there's ignorance, and ignorance is that, not knowing. It's forgetting, someone that has forgotten that their love. Or when you have forgotten that your love, is very easy to be in pain. And it's very easy when you're in pain to bring pain into your relationships. So that compassion, when we bring it to our lives, when we bring that self-forgiveness, then we, like children, we keep trying to walk. We get up and then we try one more time, so that we can be part of that cosmic energy that Ram Dass is talking about in that book. That love and that beauty. So I don't want to, again, disrespect whatever it is that you go through sometimes, the habit, that addiction to your thoughts, addiction to our patterns. And I'm not saying only you, me too. I know when I'm repeating something because I'm addicted to it. But can we look at all of it with a little bit of compassion? If the word compassion sounds too big, just bring a little tiny bit of it and start educating yourself. Start cultivating your mind, cultivating your soul, so that you can understand it. Not only understand it with your mind, but know it in your heart. And like my teacher said, this is a practice. Sometimes we think, oh, okay, well, I learned it, I read it from that book, sounds really good. Oh, wow, I talk about it. But if I don't practice it, knowing and not doing is like not really knowing. And for Brandon, if you're going to be watching this later, here is one of the ways that I differentiate doing and being, or I make a balance between both of them. That I'm doing from that space of inspiration. When you're being inspired by something, you're being pulled again. instead of being pushed. You don't need motivation when you're being inspired. You just do it because it just has to come out of you. So much love, so much creativity, so much goodness. Beautiful. Pablo is saying, thanks for this, Pao. You're so welcome, Pablo. Amanda, hola. It's so good to see you here. That's good. Okay, says Tammy. Avati, die and be born every minute. Especially to forgive others for me have been a moment by moment restart. Beautiful. Die and be born every minute. I love that. And you're reminding me, amiga, about this. Someone said this is a journey of forgetting and remembering. And in the previous call in Spanish, I was talking again about the bird flying. So when you see a bird flying, it expands its wings and it contracts its wings. So that's how a bird flies. So we can use the dichotomies of life. I remember, I forget. I forgive, and then I go back to guilt again. But here's the thing. It's not about that, oh my God, I forgot and I'm a bad person, or I shouldn't forgot, come on, I should have known better. It's not about that. It's about, can we develop a practice? Then when we are forgetting, we have such a strong spiritual muscle and emotional muscle that we aim to remember again. I remember Miriam Williamson in one of her courses that I took online with her said that one time she was dating this man, and for different circumstances they broke up, and it was very hard for her because she really loved this man. And her friend, who's been going to all of her workshops, Miriam Williamson, she's amazing, she's a beautiful teacher. Well, not to say that she's not going to go, she hasn't gone through challenges. Of course, all of us, all human beings go through challenges. And so she's going through this breakup. It's heartbreaking. She is in the deepest part of her pain. She's crying, and her friend, who is her good friend, have been going to all of her lectures, know the Course in Miracles too, A Course in Miracles too, starts telling her all of the principle. Everything is happening for you. Love is all there is. There's no fear. And she just starts telling all of the things that Miriam Williamson talks about. And Miriam Williamson said at that moment, she needed to honor her grief, so she kept crying. But it was so beautiful to have her friend holding space for her up here, to keep remembering. Her friend wasn't saying, we need to bypass this, we need to forget that this happened. It wasn't about bypassing the pain. It was about having that awareness, or having that beautiful friend reminding you the truth. And she said, I was crying, but her words, they were landing in the back of my mind, and I knew very soon I was going to be able to grab them and put them in my heart again. So I hope this is resonating with you. Let's take a deep breath and let go. So this is a journey of being born, die and being born, the crucifixion, the resurrection. This is about expanding and contracting, remembering and forgetting, but again, to create that, or to cultivate the spirit so much that when we are forgetting, we can bring, like a friend, bring us back. Come on, be back here. Remember what the truth is. And so that we can begin again and be like the children, like the little children that are entering the kingdom of heaven. Now, I would love to know, is there any questions? Is there anything occurring in your life that you would like to get some insight? Not because I have the answer, but because I love to remember together with all of us, including myself. So if there's any question, any comments about what we're talking about today, this is a moment to type in the comments. And also, if you're just getting online, please say hi. So good to do this. Thank you, Facebook, allowing us to have these beautiful conversations on a Sunday. All right, well, I don't see any comments yet, so I'm going to continue. So I just mentioned about the unconditional love of the universe, and maybe me not knowing what you're going through, so you don't feel safe, you don't feel that you're being loved. So again, I'm not saying bypass it or bring positive psychology and numb it. I'm not saying that, but I just want to remind us all that unconditional love does exist, in that it doesn't matter how many mistakes you think you've done, how late you think it is. The universe is always ready to give us another opportunity to begin again, because there's no judgment. There's only compassion. So in this experience that I had on Wednesday, I could feel, I could sense, I could see it. I don't know how to describe it with words, but the best that I can do is that I could sense the presence of beauty, the presence of love, the presence of God that is never in absence, just observing us with such a compassion. And Ram Dass uses a word that I want to share with you. He brings the word compassion, but then he says something else. And I think it's here. Unbearable compassion. Unbearable compassion has the universe for us. So if the universe has unbearable compassion for us, imagine if you did that as a practice in your life. If you were to practice unbearable compassion for yourself. Now, some people may argue and say, well, Paula, but if I do that, am I giving myself permission to do whatever I want and react however I want? When you are dealing with the energy of forgiveness and compassion, it's such a beautiful and powerful energy. It's such a teacher that you respect it by not doing it again. It's almost like an energetic contract, because you felt the pain of doing what you know you shouldn't have done. You have felt the pain of saying that thing that you knew that it wasn't necessary to say. And after you receive the gift of unbearable compassion from the universe or from yourself, then you say, okay, as a way of respecting this, of honoring and serving reverence to this unbearable compassion that I just received, I'm just going to do it better this time. And if you don't do it better this time, then you're going to do it better the next time and the next time. But I know in my heart that when I'm given another opportunity to begin again, I become stronger. I become stronger in my integrity. Beautiful. So Christy is saying, so afraid to connect with love and forgiveness because I don't want to go back to toxic relationship. Christy, thank you for saying that. So you can love and forgive from afar. If you had a toxic relationship and you in your intuition and your knowing know that you're not supposed to be there, you can do energetic forgiveness. You can still love that person, but you don't have to be there. And I highly recommend that you check the work of Brené Brown. And I believe I posted a video. I'll post it again in this group. She was talking about how there's no such a thing as having unconditional love if we don't have boundaries. So now it sounds contradicting. Paula, what are you talking about? Boundaries when we're all one? At a very fundamental level, we need to understand boundaries. So when we've been in toxic relationships, boundaries are necessary. And you can still go ahead and forgive them and love them, but from afar. Because there's no such a thing as staying in a toxic relationship and practice forgiveness. I think that's more self-abuse. And when you're self-abusing, you're abusing them too. I know myself, I've been in toxic relationships, and I remember one time a psychic, I was so desperate. I visited a psychic. I was like, can you please help me? And she said, honey, if you stay there, you're hurting him. Even though you think you're helping him, you're hurting him so much because you're not allowing him to walk his journey as he needs to walk his journey in his way. So Christy, I hope this resonates with you, but you can love and forgive from afar with boundaries, okay? Thank you. Hi, Ryan. I think health is important to be there. I got myself some special pyramids. Okay. I think health is important. Take care of your health, self-care. I agree with you, Jax. Amanda, have you ever heard of someone being stuck in a dream, like a dark room? Do you mean going through the dark night of the soul, Amanda? What do you mean by that? Are you having a recurrent dream where you are stuck in a dark room? Do you feel like your life feels like that right now? And maybe that could be called a dark night of the soul. I would like to know a little bit more about that. But specifically, literally how you wrote it, no, I've never heard about that. Tammy, perfect timing. My son just interrupted this call from me being very upset. I first absorbed his negativity, then remembered that it wasn't mine and started again in my positive mindset. Beautiful, Tammy. And you know, the other day someone came to me and just said, oh my God, Paola, I get it. It's not them that are sucking my energy, it's my judgment of them. So I acknowledge you for being so strong and bringing your attention back to love. And also know that he never did anything to you, your son. It was that in the moment that he came, you rejected that, you resisted whatever he was doing. And so that's when we started the process of judging. I remember one day I got to our office here at my work and someone was very negative. And I was in a good space. I was feeling good. And then I started listening to this person talking. I was like, oh my God, this girl is so negative today. I can't believe this girl is so negative today. Oh my God, it's so negative. And then I started judging her very unconsciously. I left that office so tired and so sad. It wasn't her that did that to me. It was me resisting her, judging her, not being compassionate with her. So nobody can do anything to us unless we allow it. So that's why the power of compassion, unbearable compassion for yourself and for others. Loving from afar, I do this. Beautiful. Claudia, hi Claudia. Ryan is resonating, says beautiful. Yeah, self-abuse lesson, yeah. And not only self-abuse, sometimes we stay in a relationship thinking we are going to save them or we're going to change them or we have this karmic, sacrifice to do. And in reality, it's abuse towards them. It's disrespect towards them because they have chosen to be here. They can row their own boat. They can. And it's a form of love to allow them to row their own boat. They can do it. They can do it. And that's how the universe looks at us. It only comes in when we allow it, but it just waits patiently for you to say, okay, I'm ready. But if you're not ready, it just waits. No judgment whatsoever. How beautiful it would be if we did that with our loved ones. Just respect their journey without judgment. I know sometimes it's a big thing for the ego. For our ego, it's like, oh my God, Paola. Especially when there's someone in your life with addiction. So, but if you are going through something like that, there's a lot of growth. There's something beautiful emerging through that difficult lesson. And I know you can do it. That's why you're going through it, because you can do it. Beautiful. Okay, Christy says, thank you. Amanda, being trapped inside a room. So Amanda, I'm sorry if I'm not understanding. Is this an analogy of what you're feeling in your life? You're feeling like you're being trapped in a room, in a dark room. I'm just going to go with this. Intuitively, I'm going to believe this is what's going on in your life. Some teachers call it the dark night of the soul. Some other teachers prefer to call it the dark night of the ego. There's something within us that wants to die, that no longer serves us, that might have served us for a long time. And now we're ready to let it go. And sometimes we go in that dark night of the soul or in that dark room because we don't know what we're becoming. We know we don't want what we had anymore, but we don't know what's ahead. And so in that middle part, sometimes it can feel very dark. But remember that in the presence of darkness, don't worry so much about the darkness. Turn the light on and the darkness will disappear. I didn't say this originally, it was a yogi. In the presence of darkness, don't worry so much about the darkness. Turn the light on and the darkness will disappear. So how do you bring light into that darkness? You can love the darkness. Instead of resisting the dark room, you can say, dark room, I love you. I love you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you and I love you will bring light to that dark room. And then to understand that there was no dark room at all. It was all an illusion. I hope this resonates, amiga. Amanda, let's take a deep breath. Beautiful. Yes, okay. So I love doing this Self-Love Sundays. I love having these little moments all together as a community. I would love for you to join me next Sunday. If you live in Costa Rica, March 3rd, I'm going to be having a meditation class, a meditation course, March 3rd. If you live in Costa Rica and you would like to do a meditation course with me, it's a Sunday. Please send me a message and I'll give you all of the information. Also, if you know of a friend or someone that would benefit from this conversation that we just had, please share the group, ask them to join, and yes, if there's any additional comments, okay, I can see additional comments, so let's see. So Claudia seems like he's responding to Amanda. When in the dark room, think of something, someone you love, it will bring light, shine on. Beautiful, Claudia. I love that. Yeah, bring the light. Awesome. Liam, keep up the great work, Paola. Thank you. Sending lots of love from Canada. Self-love is a very important topic. Yeah, self-love. We can develop more on that topic next week. If you have any questions, if there's a topic you would like to me to talk and expand in together in this Sunday calls, please send me a message and we'll do it next weekend. I feel that we are complete now. Thank you so much for being here, for connecting, for taking the time. Let's take the last deep breath in. Release. Have a beautiful Sunday. Have a blessed week. And I'll see you next Sunday. Goodbye.